The landing pad is finished, and that opens up the next chapter of this operation. Today's objective: build a scout flyer. Something fast, nimble, not really meant for a fight, at least not yet, but enough to get me airborne and explore beyond what I can reach by rover. Top priority is going to be locating resources like ice, or maybe spotting points of interest I couldn't see from the ground level. Before I start to build though, there is a bottleneck I need to clear, and that's magnesium. I cannot stock ammo, I cannot arm the base, and I cannot do much of anything without it. So the first task is to fix that supply issue, and then it's time to start building. Now we did have magnesium in those lakes there. I don't remember how deep it was. What I'm wondering is if we should use our rover that we have not taken down yet. You know when you say things are going to be temporary? If we would put a drill on that and just drill for the magnesium with our rover, I think that might be the smartest option. So, I'm going to grind this away, drive this small rover off, connect it to the base, and get this done and sorted. Right, let's park this one here for a moment. I need to take away my projector as well still. I don't think we need that projector anymore. There we go. Alright, so this is all sorted out. I had some suggestions about putting a container in that, which is actually a good idea. It might be something we might do later. For the moment, not important because I do not have enough anyway. Magnesium and ammo, so we'll get back to that. So let's wait with this. This is just temporary anyway. I'm gonna keep the bed if I need to sleep, and then I think we're gonna remove this mag plate here, and then we can use the connector in the back to, not the connection in the back to connect it to our drill system. But I'll need to remove the back part so we have space for this drill to go down. Right, so I'm gonna just do this like this with a gap in the back. That should allow the drill to go down behind it without losing too much of our balance and stabilization. Let me just put some half blocks there, reinforce that a bit. Then I can weld this up, and then we can start working on the drill itself. That, and then an elbow goes up. Then on this we put a piston, which we don't have the materials for. Oh yeah, great. And then that's going to go up. I have a feeling we won't have enough because this might not even fit underneath. It does fit, but this is just edging the edge. That means if I'm driving a little bit too bumpy, I'm losing my drill. So let's build a second piston on this one so we can extend this one as well. That means we have more pistons we can go down, but it also allows us to push this thing up so that the drill is not that low against the ground. Also, because I'm doing the double piston up and the double piston down, that should also allow me to drill much deeper. Because I'm not entirely sure how deep the magnesium is. Then one more piston, like that. I was thinking about putting a rotor underneath there, but thinking about it, if you look at the distance, the rotor is not going to make sense because I'm probably going to hit the piston. So we're just going to do a plunger. And then just drive over it and drill down. That's going to be the smartest option. So we're just going to put 3 drills like this next to each other, which can drill down, and that should be more than enough to get this job done. We don't need to completely, empty that deposit. All right, there we go. So now each of these pistons, except for that one, needs to have shared inertia tension on. So now we should be able to drop this length and this length before we can extend these. That means that we will be already 12 meters in the ground, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, another 30 meters. So that should be 36 meters limit before we reach the limit of this drill. Anything else I want to do? How much power do we have here? We have 19 hours, so we should be fine. Let me fuel up my tanks again just to be sure. And then we can jump in the rover, drive to that magnesium deposit and get some magnesium rolling. What I want to do first, before we run off, let me just do something. Build info conveyor network. Everything is linked up. Alright, good. Alright, so I shouldn't be too eager driving this. I should be pretty chill. Try to be keep this stable. Because for the moment, this is a very top-heavy rover with the pistons on top. Once the magnesium is going to go into the container, we should have a little bit more weight, but for the moment, we should be more careful. 3 kilometers left. I think that's a bit of a drop off there, so maybe we should just go here and find a well, like a smoother ramp into that lake bed. Honestly, I don't think we even need to drive that far. I'm sure there's going to be magnesium more close by. Like in that hotspot there on the left. Ah, there we go. Magnesium. 32 meters deep. So that should be possible to reach with our drills. So let's just position this a bit on the least deep spot. I think we're just going to take it here. And I think we should actually put our drills on clearing mode first, because there's no point to really start digging up all that stone. Alright, and then let's drop this down at a speed of minus 0.1. I think that should be enough. I mean, for clearing, we could go a little bit quicker. Okay, this seems to be clearing just enough away so our wheels are not being taken out. Alright, so let's have this drill for a bit. I'll be back when we hit the magnesium. Let's see, if I take my drill out, will it show already? There we go. Oh, 15 many more? That's pretty close. Ah! Okay, we can actually stop. We're already there. Toggle block off. And let's put these drills no longer on clearing. There we go. So now we can turn this on again. And that should now start with drilling that magnesium. We can turn you on. So that was way less deep than I assumed it would have to be. So this is not that bad. Already having 17k, 18k. Alright, good. This is going well. I don't remember how much silver we had. There is silver there, so we could do another drive there, plunge some silver. Because we will need some maybe for medical components and even other components. Oh, we're done already? Man, I hate the Z being right next to the X every time I'm pressing that button. How far is this? 4 kilometers. Let me just get a bottle. I'm going to jet back there. So yeah, that Z and X is too close. I'm getting too fat fingered for this. Unbelievable. Okay, so you can retract. Let's get my body. Then when it's on the right height, I'm just going to drive forward a bit and backward a bit to clear the magnesium a little bit larger. I think we should have enough magnesium with just this. All right. I'm going to drive very slowly forward. try to grab some more magnesium. And then we just drive backwards and take the back part, and we should be fine with magnesium for now. That should be a good, decent sum of magnesium. I mean, that's about 10 times as much we took from the wreck, so we should be fine for a bit. So let's turn you on again. Let's reverse you. Let's reverse you. And let's reverse you. And then we can go to our drills and turn them off. Alright, so now that we are nearby, let's go and grab some silver. It's just 2 kilometers, so let's go and get some. And that should, you know, give us an opportunity to build like a survival kit or something. We're gonna have to be aware of that big hole when we're going back. I don't think we will be driving over the same spot, but still, keep it in mind. The rover should be a little bit more stable now with all the weight in the container, but still, we need to be aware of it. Okay, so silver is way deeper. That's 70 meters. I'm not sure if we're going to reach that. But we'll have to try, and if necessary, to just mine the rest manually. Okay, control, drills, terrain clearing mode, and on. We can start with reversing. Let's clear out the terrain a bit and see how deep we can get. Alright, I'm gonna manually mine towards the silver, so I have a bit of an idea what the distance is to the deposit itself. Because I think it always, you see, it shows the center. Let's see if that drill can make it now. That way I can at least judge how deep this thing is. I don't think we will reach it. I only have, well, I have 3 pistons left, so let's put you on 1, and let's put you on 1. So we can use then the last one to maybe reach the actual deposit. Alright, so we have been mining some silver for a bit. It's not that much, but I think we have quite a lot already, at least enough. That's 5k. I could mine a little bit more just to get more into the thing. We just need enough to be able to make some components, and then maybe later we come back with a bigger drill or a deeper drill. But that should be enough for now. Alright. Control panel pistons. Can all reverse. The drills can't be turned off. There we go. Let's get out of here. So, we got a decent amount of silver, we got a decent amount of magnesium. And we got a whole bunch of stone, which means we have some nickel as well. So yeah, time to go home, drop this off, and then start with the flyer. So with all the magnesium we collected, we should be able to get all our weaponry armed up. At least all the defensive weaponry, Gatling turrets and the assault ones. So the next thing we're going to focus on is building that flyer. Now the main goal of this flyer should be scouting for now. I just want to have a look around, see if we can find anything interesting, like deposits, maybe ice, or maybe some important technology we can find, but we'll have to see about that. We still might think about putting a assault gun or something on it, just so that we can snipe from a distance, or if we need to defend ourselves, we might have to put some guns on it, just in case we accidentally or purposefully fly too close to a base or drones or something. Either way, I'm gonna connect this to the base here, connect the rover to the base here, transfer everything over, and then we can start refining all that magnesium and silver. In the meantime, we can start working on the flyer. Yeah, the refinery is going to that stone like in no time. You can see it's almost gone, which is good. All right, let's begin with our flyer. Let's see what we can do. I'm not entirely sure how this is gonna work, but yeah. So the plan is to start with a connector on top of this here. The connector is gonna allow us to just charge the ship while we're building it. We could, of course, work with the landing gear, but if I do it like this and I drop the connector on the other connector below that plate and we weld that up, I will be able to connect the connector and it will be charging up the batteries and even allowing, like, if you would like have a hydrogen ship, it would allow to fill up a tank. So let's just switch lock and we can start building on that connector. I don't think I'm going to use this connector itself as part of the ship. I just want it there so that I can build up from there and just, let me just withdraw some steel plates. So we can also work underneath it. I need to keep an eye on my hydrogen. Let's start with the container. I could work with this container. Problem is, this is massive. Takes so much space, especially for a small ship. If I work with that, that should be enough. If I do 2 of them, this is in the end not a ship that is gonna be needing that much storage. So we could put 2 containers. Then we're putting a cockpit. Not that one, not that one. That one, no. That one, no. I think that one. I have gotten to a liking of the flush cockpit. I don't know. It looks nice. It is easy to like merge into an existing shape. So let's use, no, not that. We need to put a conveyor in between that, because if you look at the cockpit, you can see it has 2 small connectors while the container has a large one. So we need to put a conveyor in between to make sure that the large goes to the small ones. Let me just withdraw some and then build that against. Let me just clear this first because my cockpit is taking this and then the cockpit. Okay, let me just weld this up so I can see what it is. I think the only thing you need to be careful for welding up is the batteries for now, until we are sure we are happy with their location. And the cockpit. All right. I think I might start with a little bit of shaping up the front so that we can decide how the sides are going to look like. I don't think I want to go too far in the nose. I want to keep it pretty stubby. Mirror building will be nice, especially in Space Engineers 2. So I don't need to do constantly this. Maybe. One, two. How much of the cockpit do we want to see? I think it might be nice if it's pretty deep inside. So if we do this, then we put that slope in there. Then that little spee. Okay, we need way more steel plates as well. So one here, one there, then that spee goes in here. So I want this to follow that line of the cockpit glass, but I want it to be a little bit sunken in. I don't want to see too much of the cockpit itself. And then that goes there. Then I do the same on the other side. A bit of a bulkier nose. Maybe we put some wings on it. If I... Could we work with flat mows, maybe? I don't know. Let me just double check. 9%. I'm just going to keep an eye on my hydrogen just to make sure that we don't fall out of the sky. We could put a turret on top here on one of the containers, and maybe we can work with a connector on the bottom. I don't think we can work with a large connector because I don't want to bump this too much out. This is going to be a pretty small ship. I don't think we're going to extend much further than this part. We could put a connector on the back. If we put our wing from here. Let me build one wing and let's see what we can do with that. You cannot keep go sharp. We need to go flat here. I might be able to put the flat mow in the back here. I could put it in here, but I think it might be too close inside. We also still need to put batteries in here. I don't want to put a battery here, otherwise this is going to interrupt this. Could put a battery here. That would be 3, and then we could put a thruster next to it, maybe. Just if I put a battery. 8. Put that one, or do we put that one? If I do this, we can use that angle. Might be the battery. Well, we could put some plates on top. As this is a scout ship, I don't think we should be too bothered about protection, but still. I'm going to put 2 batteries. That just gives me a little bit longer life. Do I have power cells on me? I don't. I'm just trying to avoid welding these batteries up and losing the power cells. So we just want them to be a little bit stronger. Now, to link this up from the ship to the battery, could we... we just put some full blocks in here and here, so I can build against it. And then let me try, if I put that corner tip here, then we just try to extend from here to the battery. I think I'm too short. I need to be higher. Okay, let me just see if what I want to do is connect from here to the cockpit. So this should normally work, no? I just do this, and then I... Okay, that's actually gonna work, no? If I do... then this is a full block. Then how do we... I just put a corner tip there. Which means that I might have to... I think we need to move our wing up. Yeah, alright. So this wing has to go 1 step up. Yeah, alright. So we'll move this wing 1 up, and then that should work. Okay. That doesn't look too bad. It's a little bit too sleek, maybe. I do have a problem where I end up... Shut up. I was in the middle of a sentence. I have a problem with me trying to always, like, encapsulate the whole thing. Something like that. So this battery will be visible, but it's really nicely part of the hull. I will put in... I can put some plates on top, or maybe some bulletproof glass or something, just to protect the battery from whatever is coming their way. Okay, I need to go and recharge my battery. Okay, so I should have space for beacon Auto detector maybe. Could also put an antenna and a remote block, so if I accidentally jump out, I can call my ship down. And then we can use these weird angled slopes to just finish up these corners. I think I can do the same here and there. And that should allow me to keep the profile of the ship pretty flat. Which of course means I won't be able to use a big connector, I think. Something like that. Can we put a camera over the light so the light still shines, but I can use the camera to look? You know what would be nice is lights in this shape. Although, could we? Is this... No, this is a full block. No, yeah, this is a full block. Yeah, and I don't want to... No, I don't want to add anything to the nose. I think this is a pretty nice shape. And then we put our wings against here. So if I put a another speed to make this go in again, and then we use those curved flat nose.
Fuel low.
Okay. Never mind, I was busy with doing something, but yeah. Okay, do I have thrusters in my list here? I do. 8. If I take you, and I put you here, you're pointing down, no? Yeah, okay, so 1 here, and 1 here. So that kind of grabs around this thruster. Something like that. That looks pretty cool. Of course, pretty sensitive and weak. I wonder if I should put 2 backup thrusters somewhere just to make sure that if the gate shot, we have something to either slow down or keep our ship in the air. If I do this, then we are sure it has more surfaces connected to. Yeah. Yeah. So now we got up thrust. That's the only thing we have now. We don't have any other thrust. We need left, right, back and forth. I think we could put forward thrust somewhere here, maybe next to the battery here. Let's take the fancy ones. If I do 1 here, is that maximum? It's maximum. If I put 1 here and 1 here. And can we do the same here on the back, like here and here? That's going to be my forward thrust. That's going to be my braking thrust. That's going to be my upwards thrust. Left and right. I don't really want to add 1 here. That kind of breaks. Well, we could put 1 here. Like this. I'm not sure if that looks nice. I wonder how much power this thing would need to just be left and right. If I would do this. So there's a little... We could do this or we could do this. So 1 here and 1 like that. Would that be enough? I'm not sure if that is enough. I have to test. Because we are on a heavy, intense gravity planet. 1.5, no 1.2 we have on this planet. 1 here. 1 here. I'm just thinking if I could put another one somewhere. We could put one maybe there. Behind it and then have one of those, yeah, maybe. We'll see. If I need more, we can add more. Like hidden away. You know what I could do as well? I could put some lights behind there. That is like a combined... I do this, one here and one here, like that. If I want to put another connector in there, I might have to give up on one of the containers. Also up. I think that's all the thrusters we actually need for this to kind of fly. We need gyroscopes as well. I could put some lights on here. Like the small ones. Would that work? I can put some of these narrow thrusters there in the nose. Right here. Just as a backup, and maybe even here as well. If I would like to put the connector in there, I don't think that's possible, is it? I almost need to move this container one out. I don't think I want to do that. It's gonna break the shape. Right, I think I'm pretty settled on the shape. I'm gonna weld up these batteries so we see how that look like and how we can work around it. That gives me enough space for the connector. Small connector, yeah, not a large one. I don't want to bulk it up too much. Yeah, I want to keep it pretty much flat, like that. Could we put, like, our guns hanging from the bottom? For example, like I said, I want to have a little bit of a sniper gun. If I do this and I put a... rocket launchers. Then we could put a connector there that links the elbow, and we have a small connector on the bottom. Or we put a large connector here, and then we put an elbow below here. 1, 2, 3, and an elbow in here. Then we have a large connector. We should be able to land there, but I think my gun might cause issues poking through. Gun, pretty visible. Everything very visible. I'm not entirely happy with that. It is a good spot to have a gun. I could put the camera up there, I think. Don't know. Unable to place camera. Damn it. This is also too high. I think we should focus this on being a scout ship. Alright, let me just refuel everything again, because I'm running out. Alright, so let's take this away. We need to reconsider this. I don't think I'm gonna... I don't want to have this ship to be this bulky on the bottom. I want it to be pretty sleek. So there is some space in the back there, which means I can either put my beacons in there or my gyros, or detector and antenna. So if I put an antenna in this ship, I will be able to use a remote block to remote control the ship. So I also want to put an ore detector. So let's put one ore detector here, and let's put an antenna here. Then we just need to put a remote block somewhere. Then and here we can put a gyro. Actually, I have way more space in here, so I could put much more in there. I could even move my beacon and my antenna forward, or my ore detector and antenna forward. But let's start with a gyro here, and then let's think what we else want to put in there. A remote block needs to go in there as well. On the other side, I'm going to put an event block. Not an event block. Well, we could put an event block, but okay. Remote control. For the moment, we're going to work with remotes. We could work with antenna, with AI blocks, but I could put an AI block. in there just already. This could be a good... Well, I need guns on it to be a drone. Anyway, let's put the AI blocks in here. GAI. All right. So let's start with an AI flight. So the advantage of this is even if I don't make this in a drone, we can set it up that the ship keeps flying, maybe returns home when I am get kicked out of the cockpit or something. We just need to make sure that always, especially the flight one, needs to be rotated in such a way that it is pointed to the front of the ship. And then we put also another block here, the offensive one. And I don't think there's actually a rotation on this, as in there's no direction in this block, so we can just place it. Still, I'm going to use the forward arrow there, just to be 100% sure. Do I need an AI task? I might need an AI task as well. An event block, just in case. Now, can I weld these? Might have to open up my... okay, weld it. Right. So we got our AI blocks, we got an event controller. I don't think I have space for an antenna or a detector. But what we could do is just fill up the space with 2 batteries, which is just going to be like backup. It is a little bit extra power. It's not important, but still, it might come in handy. All right, I think we can start closing this off. I think we have everything we need. So let's just put that block back. All right, this is starting to get some shape now. So I think we got everything. I got my ore detector, antenna, AI blocks, gyro. Anything else I'm missing? I got my batteries. All right, so what do I do? How do I close this off? Do I follow the same like the front? So I add a corner tip on the corner there, then just work my way back. So corner tip here, and then not that one. We need the what's the name? Do we do this? I think it's best now that I don't overlap the fan. This does make sense here though. But I can also not do that, otherwise... Do we do a full block instead? Maybe we should just not do that little... let me just see something. Yeah, I think that's okay. We could do a sharper angle. Like that. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm okay with this. All right, let's do that on the other side. And next step. I have to say, I'm actually pretty happy with the shape of this thing. We will have to plate this up, and I might want to put some window over that. We don't have like a 3x1, so we will have to do like a 2x1 and maybe a 1 or something. And let me recharge my bottles for the 50 millionth time. So 2x1, and then we need a 1x1 in that corner. And then next to that, we could put some plates. The half ones that should normally pretty much fit well next to that thing. So we want to protect the battery at least as good as possible. And I think glass and that steel plate. You know, we could have done heavy armor. We could change that later, we'll see. So that's not too bad. Everything is covered enough. The battery is a little bit visible, but I think we should be okay. Put a few blocks in here just to make sure that this looks pretty closed off. And then we could put some fans in here as well, just to have a backup in case our thrusters are being shut up. So, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Could we put like a blast door in there? Because if I put a blast door, it might change a bit the texture, the look of it. You know what I need to do as well, maybe, is build a O2 tank in there. And a vent, something that can give us some oxygen when needed. Alright, let's recharge my oxygen and my power again. We're getting very close to the end now of this ship. Alright, I think we can safely say that we have a pretty decent design, pretty nicely looking scouting ship. I'm still considering a gun. I'm just not sure where we could put it. Maybe I should put a custom turret on it. Just on the bottom or something, I don't know. I'm still considering putting a connector on there. I'm just not sure where. Can I grind you away? You should normally not fall down. If I would put a connector in between there. I don't like it because it adds so much more to the profile of the ship, but I cannot go deeper because of the container. I think even if I would remove the container in there, the space I have in there means that I cannot build anything that still links up with the rest of the ship. I cannot go any deeper. Because that's an open connection. If I flip this around, I could maybe, but then disconnecting the back will become pretty useless. So yeah, I think the only way to make this look and work properly is by putting a small connector here or here, like that, and then change that one to a small connector as well. Yeah, I thought it would be small connector. This is definitely one of my favorite new additions to our last update. Field work, I think it was, no? There we go. It is in the end made for this ship. Alright, I'm gonna dock this ship on the ground here. Let's try it out a bit, see how it flies. How does it handle left and right? So next time, when we come back to this, we can then do some fine-tuning as well. So I got 37 minutes on a very half-ass battery, so that should be pretty okay. Up is going pretty well. Down, we are using the gravity. This is currently weighing 17,000. left and right is pretty sluggish, so we might be able to add some. It is pretty, what you call it, nimble with the gyro, so that's good. Accelerates pretty well, so that's good. It does brake well as well. Alright, what we will need on this ship is some more light, so we see. And we definitely need more thrusters on the side. Yeah, alright. So that is something we need to work on tomorrow. So let's just dock this and let's... Oh, you know what? We should put some lights next to our connector as well. I'm going to put a light here. So that is going to give us a good idea of where we are landing. The fact that we have a rear connector means we will be able to load and offload things when needed. But the small connector is going to be our landing spot where we can charge and do some minimal transferring of items. Magnesium secured, silver stocked, and the scout flyer is taking shape faster than I expected. The hull is mostly done, the systems are in place, and the first flight went surprisingly well. It's responsive, has good lift, and the handling feels solid, though the side thrust could definitely use some improvement. Armor-wise, there are still a few weak spots I need to reinforce, but overall, it's a promising start. After so many days focused on mining and scrapping together materials, it feels good to finally be building something with real purpose again. With a bit more fine-tuning, this ship should be ready for its first real scouting mission soon. And that is where we're going to be wrapping it up for today. Thank you so much for watching, really appreciate you being here. If you're enjoying this series, feel free to leave a like or drop a comment, it helps more than you think. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Beeblebum out.